Damn. Well, we just finished Improv for Actors 2. Little pat on the back moment. I didn't know what to expect, but I think that's the whole point of improv. I didn't write down anything notes for actors' notes, but I haven't for this entire class, this entire 7 weeks that we've been doing this, because we've been playing games, we've been having fun. You can probably see in my eyes just the reminiscence of everything, me just recapping on all these seven weeks. It was really fun because literally at the end of class, before the next class came in, they found out all my improvisers. I'm gonna name them off because I feel like they're gonna see this, but I'm not gonna say it. I want to give them some accolades. Everybody that I worked with Improv for Actors 2, there was Andy. Andy's the only one that wasn't there today, but he's in California. Little inside joke. There was Andy, there was Aiden, there was Logan, there was Addie, there was Nora, there was David. I always forgot. There was David, and of course there was Michael. Michael has been with me since Improv 1, Improv for Actors 1, Improv for Actors 2. And let's do the math real quick. So I started my improv journey, and the whole point of Actors Notes isn't just to showcase improv, even though that has been the majority of my videos here on this channel. And for my podcast, but it's just to showcase the notes that I write in class and thoughts and feelings that I had, and I felt like if I feel this way or think this way, someone else might as well. Man, we're done. But we're not finished. Ooh, I like that. We're done, but we're not finished. There's always a time to reminisce. I'm gonna try to do the math. Let me see if I can do the math. So we took 8, Improv 1 was 8 weeks. Then we did 7 for Improv for Actors 1 and 2. So that is 22 weeks in total. Each class is 3 hours, so that's 66 hours of improv. And I drive 5 hours to get here, and then 5 hours back. And I think the most interesting and fun part about this is that tomorrow we're actually going to be on our way to a commercial that we booked. And it's funny because the audition, it said use your improv skills. I think, well, I'm thinking a lot. I'm thinking about that this is the end of this chapter, but it's going to be the beginning of the next, which is hopefully stage combat. I'm ready to do my own stunts, but I gotta figure out school, training center. There's nothing like the second city here in Chicago, but I'm thinking about the song right now, End of Beginning by DJO, what's his name? I relate to that song so much. I can't play it due to copyright reasons. But I love that song so much because he talks about how you can take the city out of the man. And this is just my own personal interpretation of the song. Just like all these notes that I'm taking is my own interpretation of how my instructor, and shout out to my instructor, Jack. I don't know if we can list these instructors, but Jack and Tom. Tom was my teacher for Improv for Actors 1 and Improv 1. And they were amazing instructors. They taught me a lot, not just about improv, but they taught me about just the ways and methods that an instructor will teach from another instructor. And one thing that I always say that I'll take away that I've said before in the past is how Jack, he said before we even began these 7 weeks, that first week, he said, listen, you guys know yourselves more than anyone. So take what you want and leave what you don't. He's here to share his perspective, his knowledge and experience as an improviser and help us grow in ways that we need to work on. And he did a fantastic job on. There were a lot of moments where I'm like, I don't really agree with you. But I don't think the point is to agree. I think the point is to collaborate. The point is to listen and react and say yes and. But going back to the song and the beginning, he says you can take the man out of the city, but you can't take the city out of the man. And I love this because this is the second city. And even though that this journey is ending, but another one is beginning, whether that's stage combat, whether that's Meisner classes or Stella Adler classes or Uta Hagen classes or whatever classes we pursue in the future, maybe writing classes. I mean, I know the second city has so much. They have not just sketch comedy, they have improv. They have improv for people with anxiety. They have writing classes and all these things just to help you in your craft, in TV and film as a whole, and just maybe just solely improv. And regardless of where I go on this journey, regardless of where you guys are watching me from, if you're rewatching this video or if it's the first time you're watching this video, and wherever we are on our journey, I may not be here at the second city, but you can't take the city out of the man. You can't take all the improv mistakes and improv lessons that I've learned. And if you are thinking about pursuing improv, if you are thinking about taking an acting class in general, you want to be an actor, an improviser, you don't know where to start, I mean, you don't need to go to the second city. It is the best, arguably the best improv school, the best comedy school in the country, but it's scary to take that first class. I remember my first class in November of 2025. I forget what date, but I just remember my heart pounding every time the teacher asked for a volunteer to begin a scene. I didn't know what I was doing, but I think being a good collaborator really helps. I mean, I was going to say a good person. I didn't want to be generic, but someone who's open-minded, someone who's open to a new perspective. I think that will carry you a lot in your acting classes, in your improv classes, and your ability to take risks and not judge yourself helps a lot. I mean, your willingness and your willingness to take that risk, to take your first acting class or your first improv class, that takes courage. And I think that's one of the biggest things that every improviser needs is courage. And to support your fellow player, meaning to collaborate, to be a good teammate. And everyone from Improv 1, Improv for Actors 1, Improv for Actors 2, everyone that I worked with had those qualities in them. And so, yeah, if you're going to take your first acting class, improvising class, I mean, if there's anything that you're going to take away from this video, man, we learned a lot. But my top three things that I learned since November. To anyone either continuing their journey, just starting their journey, or has any interest in this journey, I'd say listen. Active listening is something that, and this is number one, active listening is something that takes a lot of energy. Truly not just listen with your eyes, not just listen with your ears, but with your eyes. You can hear someone, but did you actually listen? And I was not called out, but I was asked by my instructor, I was like, do you know the difference between hearing and listening? Hearing is passive. Hearing is just, you just hear the words. But listening is to understand. Listening is reactive, and you have to be reacting to your scene partner, to the group, by active listening. So you think you're a good listener, but when you start to put your energy into listening, that just shows you how well you can do it. That's number one. Number two, have fun. Ow. Have fun. And something like, if you make a mistake or if you feel like you look silly, it's because you're putting yourself out there. It's because you're taking a risk. And that's going back to the courage part. When you're having fun, when you're getting to play again, I mean, that's why I think a lot of people come back to improv. Because it's you get to play, and you get to play with other people who also have creative imaginations, regardless of how bizarre or left field of the things that they might say. It's just another person with another creative mind being truthful and authentic to themselves. And you are being truthful and authentic to yourself. As long as you're playing and having fun, and even if you make a silly little mistake, doesn't matter because we've all been there, or we're all still there. And just don't ever, if you're so stressed, just remind yourself, am I having fun right now? It sounds so silly, but having fun is probably the biggest thing that's helped me stay motivated to not just come back to class, not just to drive these 5 hours and 5 hours back and to take a 3-hour improv class, but it's, you get to express yourself in ways that you don't normally in your everyday life. And I think that's, improv really reminded me of my reason why I started acting in the first place, why I started this YouTube channel and podcast called Actors Notes, where I simply just share the notes and feelings and thoughts that go on in my mind, regardless of how weird they are. I just feel like someone else experiences that. And I got so passionate, I forgot what I was saying. But it reminded me of why I started acting, because I feel like a lot of us want to experience, life to its fullest potential and try so many different career paths and do so many different things. But realistically, you probably can't do that. You can't, live the life of a doctor and what that necessitates, and going to medical school and whatever your practice is, whether it's medicine, whether it's autonomy? No, not autonomy. What's the human body? Anatomy. This reminded me of a scene that I did with Nora, shout out Nora, where she said, we were just going on in a scene, and she said, I think you're turning into a pescalarian, a word that I did not know, and I heard pescatarian, and then I started talking about fish, and then it was funny. It turned into a rule that I remember from my first instructor, Tom. He said, in a scene, when you hear something and maybe it's not what was said, but you heard it in a different way, just go with it, roll with it. Because not only does it make it funny, but it's truthful, it's what you heard. And then I love improv, or you'll love improv, because you'll feel the support, that even if you make a mistake or look silly or do something out of your comfort zone, your scene partner or the group, they'll justify it. They'll support whatever incorrect thing that you feel like you might have said. And so there's that collaboration, being a good collaborator. All goes back to having fun. Oh yeah, you can't live life in all its capabilities, but acting gives you that opportunity. For me, that's the reason why I act. I can't live so many different, life paths that if you dedicate your career to practicing medicine for your entire life, or doing charitable work for your entire life, or living in Spain and just going ghost mode, or not Spain, but just living a whole different life. We can't just do this in a human lifespan. So acting gives you that opportunity to live so many different lives and express yourself in ways that you don't normally get to do. And I mean, that's why I act. I get to stretch my acting abilities. I get to work with other people truthfully. And I'm gonna get close, because this is low-key one of my goals for this YouTube channel, for this podcast, Actors Notes. I remember driving 3 hours in, my 5-hour drive back home. I was thinking, if I could get paid, no. Would I do this if it was free? And I got this from Chris Williamson with his Modern Wisdom podcast. He said, what would you do if money were no object? And I was thinking about improv. I was like, would I do this? I was like, 100% I would do this. But then I thought about training. And I was like, instead of acting, or maybe just improv, I would love to get paid just to train in this craft, because it still feeds that ambition of getting to live life in all different aspects, whether that's Meisner, Uta Hagen. It's a psychology. You get to know more about yourself, about others, understanding others, listening to others, living through others. That's low-key what I want to do with this channel. Hopefully we can get paid to just get trained. And yeah, I'll do a movie or a TV show here now and then, but that's another goal with Actors Notes. Maybe that might be a future manifestation that we're doing right now. But I gave you 2. Listen, have fun. Number 3. think this is going to be an interesting one because it goes to your ability to adapt. How well can you adapt? And what I mean by this, for me personally, is that when I did a scene and I kept asking questions, or I was negating any gift that came my way, and I had preconceived ideas. We have all been through this, and we all, experienced improvisers still do this. And so every time I made a mistake, there will be a small moment, because I do feel like I have a great ability to adapt, but I'll have a small moment where after I make a mistake and the scene is over and the next, 2 improvisers come up, or then more people go up and I get to sit down, I dwell on my mistake. I'm like, damn, why did I say it like that? I shouldn't have done that. I know better. And you kind of just sit there in your own self-pity and mistake, but your ability to adapt is forget about it. It's already in the past. It's already gone. People probably already forgot about it. You're the only one. You're probably the only one thinking about it right now because everyone's focused on the next scene. What's next? And so your ability to adapt, okay, you made a mistake. You asked a question, you negated a gift, you focused too much on your environment and not enough about the relationship you have with the person, and so fix it. How fast can you adapt? For the next scene that you do, the next opportunity you have, all right, accept the gift. Say yes and don't ask questions. Just try your best. Your ability to adapt in terms of listening. In a moment's notice in an improv scene, you discover something absolutely unexpected. Your ability to adapt and say yes and to that, add on top of it, ooh, they say another left field suggestion. All right, I'm with it. You're for it. You're open-minded. And I think that's an amazing, absolutely amazing skill to have, that it can be trained. People naturally have good adaptation skills, but whatever works best for you, whether you have to be skillfully trained, maybe you have to put yourself in creative places to be more open-minded. Maybe that's an improv class. Maybe that's listening to a funny YouTube video. I watch a lot of good mythical moments just to open up my mind. I think Link has such a creative mind when he thinks so left field, and it's like an improviser giving random suggestions, so it opens up my creative mind. And that's how I can be more adaptive. But everybody has their own process, so there is no wrong way. I want to show you something. I felt like it was appropriate to show you the Second City if you've never experienced it, or if you always wanted to. This is a great opportunity just to show you what I see. One of my favorite features is this right here. That is Steve Carell. This is a beautiful mural. If you haven't seen it before, I've had it in my past videos, but you'll have other, I think like Stephen Colbert is over there, but that's one of my favorite features about the Second City. Also the flag. Let me show you what I see. I've only been in here one time to see a performance, but that's the beauty of being a student. You get to have free classes. I've never been in this bar. I took some pictures here. I've never actually seen what's over here. I feel like it's another theater, but I love these quotes. So you have one from Mike Nichols. The only safe thing to do is take a chance. Right over here by Gilda Radner. I do not know who that is, but life is about not knowing what's going to happen next. Delicious ambiguity. Ooh, that was good. Tina Fey, most of you might know. There are no mistakes, only opportunities. The Second City Training Center, which I don't know what was there, but somebody was rubbing on the wall too much. Amy Poehler, No One Looks Stupid When Having Fun, and the one, the only, Bill Murray. This is so weird because you have to see it like this. If you come through Second City training, I think you can do anything. Okay, I like that. I like that a lot to finish this off with. If you can go through Second City training, you can do anything. Oh, that's beautiful. Do you see this? There's the flag. Oh, that's gorgeous. And then, since this is open to the public, you do have tickets where you can buy. Right over there, it's connected to so many things. This is one of my favorite features as well. You have these chairs. These are the same chairs that when you see Second City shows, also PA, I don't know, personal assistant, maybe public announcement, I'm not sure. But those chairs, like you just saw right there, those are the same chairs that the Second City uses for their performances. And then you go through the doors, you see this beautiful, beautiful lights, just like any theater. But one of my favorite features is outside, and that's the third. You look funny. Try Improv. The Second City. And just like that, we finished all of Improv, all that the Second City offers. Oh, it feels weird, man. I think the beauty of this too is that we're gonna go celebrate with some great people. And that's another thing. Every single time I've gone to the Second City, the morning after, I get to explore the city of Chicago. I get to explore Filipino foods, being half Russian, half Filipino. And Chicago as a whole just has so many different restaurants, amazing restaurants. So we're gonna explore that. Not tomorrow. Tomorrow's our commercial. Tomorrow's our commercial. I know I'm gonna be back. I told Michael, the one who's the myth, the man, the legend, who's been with me since Improv for Actors 1. So he's been with me for 22 weeks, and we both seen each other growing. But I gave him a hug. I said, I know this is goodbye, but I'm pretty sure I'll see you down the road. And same goes with everyone that I've met. And this is something about the TV and film industry that it surprises me, but it just happens constantly, where you'll work with somebody, you know, after on set, you might book something, you'll work with someone or you trained with someone, and then just years later down the road, you see them again because they have stuck with it, you've stuck with it, and then it's just crazy how connections happen. And that's another thing about improv, the beauty of the connection. When you're actually listening, when you're having fun, when you're being adaptive, your ability to connect further down the road. It's a magical thing to see, and that's just another thing that pulls you in improv, just that magicalness. Oh, wow. It's weird to say that this is the end. This is the end of the beginning. Is that the song title? Also, how I felt during class, it just felt like any normal class. There is, and some classes have this, to where you can have a show at the end of your class. So Improv for Actors 1 and Improv for Actors 2, you are granted a show to perform in the Skybox Theater or whatever theater they have available. That'll be this coming Saturday. I can't make it, but I thought to myself, and you might be in the same position. Maybe you can't perform. It doesn't have to be for an improv show. It doesn't have to be for acting. Maybe it's just a simple theater play or a performance that you miss. I think something that I learned from my agent, shout out Beth, who's also my manager, she said, when you're in an audition room, and you can apply this to, missing a performance, but you still get to train. If you have an audition, you treat that as if you have the role. You are already in front of the casting director, the people. If you have an audience, that's the best audience, whether it's a self-tape or in person. So if you missed a performance, but you still get to go to training like I felt today, you treat that training as if it was a performance. You give it your all. You give it 110%, man. Going back to my football days in high school. I was not good. But yeah, if you have an audition, self-tape, you treat that as if you had that role. Because in that moment, in front of the casting director, whoever it is, you do have that role. So in your training, you treat it as if you were performing it. And that's what I did. Well, as DJO, I don't even know how do you say his name, DJI is what I'm filming on right now. Connections. But as one journey ends, another one begins. And in case no one has told you yet today, I love you. You matter, you have value. And let me say something I haven't said before. I'm gonna repeat exactly the 3 things that I feel like you should take away if you ever pursue improv. And the things I learned the most out of the 22 weeks we've been here. Listen, have fun, and adapt. I'll see you in the next one. I love you.